Hey everybody, this is Perch. We've got a couple cancellations, relaunches. I mean, look, let me just put it this way. It will save a lot of time, although let's not kid ourselves. I'll probably do videos about all this stuff. Anyway, it always amuses me, by the way, I do a video and then like a couple days later, people come in and they're like, when are you going to talk about this? And it's like 3 days ago. I talked about this 3 days ago. And on one level, I'm like, they should just look at the video 3 days ago. But in fairness, there were like, roughly 800 videos between 3 days ago and today, based on the kind of my current upload pace. So I can forgive, missing stuff. I mean, God, who's listening to all of it? You should. You should listen to every single one. Anyway, let's talk about some what's going on with Marvel. So if you remember, in the way back, in the before time, I had talked about how the Penguin Random House deal was going to lead to a number of relaunches, reboots, kind of a big push of new titles and everything else that would drop in October when the deal kicked in with Penguin Random House. I was wrong about that. In fact, about 3 months wrong, because Marvel appears to be doing a lot of these cancellations, relaunches, reboots, and everything starting in January. Now, we've been talking about the X-Men kind of world, and everything is ending. New Mutants is ending. Marauders is ending. Hellions has ended. Excalibur is ending. X-Men appears to be continuing forward, although there may be a pause or a hiatus in there. Nobody knows. That's the crazy part. But anyway, all these titles seem to be wrapping their storylines up. Now, they're not in the words of Jerry Duggan, they're canceled, but they're not canceled. The titles are closing and then they're rebooting, relaunching. Why? Well, because the narrative of the X story requires that we have this brand new jumping on point for readers that reflects the current status quo change in the earth-shaking revelations of Inferno. Also, they want to spike the sales by putting out a bunch of variant covers for #1 and try and boost the series back up after Hickman's departure and overall softening of the entire X line. You pick the answer you like there better, depending on what works for you. Anyway, so what do we know about the world after? Well, we've got this Life of X, Death of X, the Wolverine based. They're saying this is kind of a House of X, Powers of 10. Seems like it's Ben Percy helmed that is focused on Wolverine. That's going to be, looks like a similar format. I don't know. There's been so much conflicting information, but it feels like it's going to be about the same length and have the same kind of style as that series. But this is kicking off at the beginning of the year in 2022. We also know at least the fate of one of these canceled titles. It's returning with a brand new #1, and this time they're sneaky. They're giving us 2 #1s. So actually, what we're going to get first is X-Men Marauders Annual #1, folks. And then this will kick off a new series and, in theory, a new #1. Now, Marvel may throw us a fan-friendly curveball and keep the numbering, just from the current Marauder series. It might be nice. I mean, how are you ever going to get to that double-sized or triple-sized and triple-cost anniversary issue of #50 if you keep relaunching at #1, huh? Marvel, did you think about that? It's not all about #1. You can get a 25 in there. You can get a 10. You'd start doing you could make 20 and 30 and 40 a big deal because they're kind of even numbers, and you could do that. But if you ever want to get that Action Comics, 1000, you're going to have to start keeping the numbers consistent. Or I guess you could just keep relaunching to #1, and we've got 100 #1s that you've launched. You could then call that one 100. You could do whatever you want. Anyway, Marauders will relaunch with Captain Kate Pryde and the Hellfire Trading Company, with new writer Steve Orlando, who has come over from DC and the Image series. He helmed Commanders in Crisis, which was well, he was on that. And anyway, he's replacing Jerry Duggan, who was the title's ongoing writer. He's promising a brand new team. He's promising a bunch of things. So it is interior art for the annual by Cress Lee. Cover, as has been happening with the Marauders, will still be by Russell Dauterman. This is for the annual. No announcement has been made for the ongoing series and who will be on the title. Now, this is Steve Orlando's first ongoing series with Marvel. Obviously, he's doing the Darkhold now. He did that. Was it the Man-Thing X-Men business? So at any rate, we will find out. But Marauders #27 is the last issue before the pause, and then I'm assuming we're getting a #1 issue, but who knows? It could be 28. Let's see. This new team, written by Steve Orlando, will feature Captain Cape Pride. It will feature a team with Bishop, Psylocke, and this is the Quanon, I think, version of Psylocke, who was previously in Hellions. Aurora, who was over there in X Factor. Tempo and Somnus. Somnus was the character that Steve Orlando created back in Marvel Voices Pride #1. And then they're on a mission to rescue Dakin from a villain who, while not new to Marvel Comics, has never encountered the mainstream version of the team. This is the villain Brimstone Love, and if you remember that series in the 90s, X-Men 2099, Brimstone Love will be showing up in Marauders as the first big villain. So anyway, this is Steve Orlando's very excited. He's ready to go. They're going to go where they're needed. It seems like it's more of a mutant rescue team rather than a drug trading group, but who knows? Anyway, that's the first of the new series that appear to be launching, and the creative team behind it, Steve Orlando, who's been long rumored and assumed to be going to the X Office, will be doing Marauders. All right, people say I'm too snarky with these things. I apologize. The next series that is ending, and in this case, we don't have an answer on if it's being relaunched, but it will, is Champions. So Champions will end basically with this week's Champions #10. This is the conclusion to Danny Lore's Roxanne builds an app and uses it to nefariously take command of children with overuse of screen time. But this is Danny Lore and Luciano Vecchio, who are, I put some curve on that name. But they are basically, Danny Lore is kind of writing this as if they are done with the title. So the comment that Lore put out was, every meme, tweet, and photo that you all use to show your champions love is the reason that this book will hold a place in my heart forever. Each one of you fueled a line, a panel, a sound effect in some way. Your enthusiasm was a flame that lit every enthusiasm. Your enthusiasm was a flame that lit the very enthusiasm that Luciano and I brought to the page. So that you from the bottom of my heart. Okay, it seemed to kind of come apart there. Anyway, they all appear to be wrapping it up. So I would assume this title gets relaunched. I would assume, based on those comments from both the artist and the writer, that this title is not coming back, at least with that creative team. So Danny Lore will head on off to do something else at Marvel at this point. But I'm sure this title returns, and I say this for one reason. Disney Plus is definitely in the process of having the Ms. Marvel show, having the Ironheart show. Obviously, Miles Morales has a whole universe waiting for him, and I think this idea of these the teens coming together, whether it's Young Avengers or Champions, they're going to want to have this. They're going to want to have this tie-in. So my suspicion is, and they'll find a way to kind of mush up Young Avengers and Champions into one book. And that will be whatever kind of comes out the end of this in a couple months when we're fully into 2022 and we have a new line. But overall, we're looking at pretty much not every comic, but many of the comics coming to a conclusion, either right now or in the year. The thing that's a little bit strange about this is Marvel at their most, I don't want to say cynical, but maybe that is the right word, where they, they're canceling these titles with zero warning. So the only way people are figuring out about this is that they are getting the November and the December solicits and going, hey, I don't see this title listed here. Is it canceled? And then finally, the creators stumble out the week of the last issue and say, yeah, it's done. I mean, Champions, obviously, it's been known to have been canceled by Marvel for at least 3 to 4 months. But they're trying something new. In this case, I believe they're trying to make sure that any cancellation announcements does not impact the sales of the final arc that Danny Lore is doing with this Roxanne stuff. So the killer app storyline. Maybe that's a strategy. I don't know. It feels disingenuous to me. I don't like it when we stealth cancel things. So not a fan. But anyway, expect a lot more of this over the coming weeks as we discover lots more comics that have been canceled, relaunching, rebooting, temporarily closing, getting that #1 treatment, whatever you like to call it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you collecting these comics? What do you think about all this? What do you want the new creative teams to be? Do you even care anymore? Or are you just along for this crazy ride? Thanks for listening.